Welcome to St. John's of Lattingtown, Stations of the Cross for Children. I'm Miss Courtney, and this is our curate, Father Stephen.
Pleasure to see you all. Hello, friends.
We do this every year for our children. This is the first year we'll do it via video, and we always start with the kids imagining that they're holding a caterpillar. And that caterpillar is a caterpillar that had been on the tree that eventually would be cut down to become the cross that Jesus would carry to Calvary. So just know that the whole time Jesus is with this little caterpillar, and stay tuned to what will happen at the end. The most important part of Jesus' journey on Good Friday is that he wasn't alone. Father Stephen,
Absolutely.
Who was with Jesus?
Jesus was with his family and with his friends.
Right, like John, St. John, Jesus' best friend, his mother Mary, right?
Yep.
And so many people. So he was never alone when he was going to the cross. So in Station 1, Jesus learns that he will indeed go to the cross from the authorities.
Yep.
And we move to icon 2. And this is when Jesus accepts his cross. As you remember, his father Joseph was a carpenter. So Jesus would have been very comfortable with wood and wood making. So to some people, the cross might be a little scary. But to Jesus, he knew it came from a tree and that it was carved lovingly. So when he gets the cross, he understands that, like in carpentry, you make something with a purpose. He understands the purpose of this cross, which is not something to hurt him, but to help him with his purpose to free all of us with love. Jesus falls the first time. The cross is heavy. Even though he understands the wood and the purpose, he is God in a human body right now. Is that kind of correct, Father Stephen? And how do you think he's feeling when he first falls?
Well, he's feeling the human part of who he is at that moment. He can't carry the cross. It is too heavy, so he falls.
So what happens is someone comes who's in the crowd, probably one of his apostles or a friend, to help him the first time he falls. In this video, in this icon, Jesus meets his sorrowful mother. Now, his mother knows his purpose. She has always known. His mother is more sorrowful for all of us. She knows that we so need Jesus to be our Savior. So she meets him like any mother would. He has a hard job to do. And like you children know, you sometimes have hard jobs, whether it's hockey or homework. And your mom comes and cheers you up and roots for you. That's what his mother, Mary, is doing in this hard job.
Yeah.
Now we have Simon helps carry the cross. Tell us a little bit about Simon.
Simon is a man from the country of Cyrene, and he is in the crowd. And when it's clear that Jesus is having trouble carrying his cross, the guards who are with him, the centurions, order Simon to carry the cross for Jesus in order to make sure that the cross gets to Calvary.
Now remember, your caterpillar that you're holding in your hands right now, that caterpillar is on the cross, and that caterpillar is staying with Jesus and being very brave. And now we come to the Sunday school favorite icon for Stations of the Cross, and this is Veronica offers her veil to Jesus. So this is a woman who has very little, if nothing, right, Father Stephen?
Yep.
But what she does have, she gives her veil. That's very important, so he can wipe his forehead, because it is very hard work. How hard a work do you think it is, Father Stephen, for the kids to carry this cross?
I mean, if it's any indication, the cross that you saw at the beginning of this video was very heavy, even for me and Kate to carry. So just imagine one person carrying a cross that was either just as big or much bigger than ours.
And now, especially with Veronica, Saint Veronica, loving him. It's love of all these people, his family and friends around him, that is allowing him to keep going. And here we have Jesus falls the second time. He's so tired now. You can imagine you've been tired where your mother or father kind of has to pick you up. And have you ever been taken to bed when you fall asleep on the sofa or in the car? It's almost like I feel like Jesus is there now. There's someone to pick him up and take him. Now we come to the eighth icon. Jesus speaks to the women of Jerusalem. Can you imagine? He's so tired and his muscles must hurt and he must be exhausted. Yet he can minister to the women of Jerusalem. Father Stephen, tell us what you think he's saying to these women of Jerusalem.
Well, these women are women who have followed him from the beginning of his ministry through to this point, just before he's nailed to the cross. And at this point, they are crying and they are sad about knowing about what's going to happen to Jesus. And he spends even just a few seconds telling them, don't cry, don't worry, everything will be okay. I know what's going to happen, and this is all part of God's plan. And he comforts them.
So very much, Father Stephen, you really hit my heart with that, because right now with COVID, people are a little nervous and worried about what's going on. So can you imagine, kids, you thinking, well, Jesus is on the way to the cross. He's telling these women not to worry, that it will be okay, because God has love as the end of the story. So just think about those women. We're a lot like them right now, and all will be well.
Yeah.
So now we're going to take a little jog to the other side of the church. And now we have Jesus falls the third time. Oh, this is really very difficult for us because our beloved Jesus has fallen. But he has someone who will come and help him again. And you all know times where you think, something's so hard, homework so hard, and you can't do it, and someone surprising comes and helps you. Maybe it's your older sibling who's never helped you with homework, and they decide to come, and you're like, wow, that's so cool. So that's what the third time, never ever give up. Jesus is not giving up. He has all of us in mind. Now we have Jesus is stripped of his garments. Father Stephen, what does this mean theologically? How symbolic is this?
So in the Old Testament, the first book, the first part of the Bible, there are all these prophets who make prophecies about what is going to happen. And one of those is that the Son of God, the Son of Man, will be stripped of all of his clothes before he is lifted up before the whole world. So this is the moment where part of that prophecy is fulfilled, with Jesus having his clothes taken off of him.
And it reminds us, too, of his baptism with his cousin John, right? So again, family. John, obviously, his cousin, isn't here now, but he is in spirit when he baptized him in the Jordan. This is Jesus is nailed to the cross. Now, as we remember, his father was a carpenter, and he grew up at his father's feet. And nails obviously are painful, but Jesus has now been in so much prayer with God. He trusts God implicitly, and those nails have a purpose. And as a friend of mine said once, Courtney, don't you know that Jesus could have turned each nail into a flower? The truth is, he knows his purpose, and God is helping him with his pain.
And who was on that cross with him still? The little...
Oh, thank you, Father Stephen. Oh, Father Stephen now knows about loves glitter, which we have to just... Father Stephen didn't used to love glitter, but after 3 years with us, he kind of likes it. And 2, he remembered our little caterpillar, which, thank you. You are so awesome, Father Stephen. So yes, our caterpillar is still there, but he's getting such feelings of calm and peace from Jesus, who is whispering to him, you will be okay. We will be okay. Just wait and trust God. And that little caterpillar is trusting God right now. Jesus dies on the cross. Now at this moment, this is one of our Sunday school children's favorite moments from this tough story that has so much hope. That at this very moment at 3 o'clock on Good Friday, there is an eclipse. The sun stops shining. It's completely dark. And then there's an earthquake. And we feel, and Father Stephen will put this into proper theological context, but we feel like at that moment, the entire love of God comes through Jesus onto this planet for everyone who's been here, who was there then, and for us now. That love had every one of our children's name on it who's alive right now. Father Stephen, will you put that into a theological...
Well, when Jesus dies on the cross, it's the moment where all of the hardships and the shortcomings and the things that we might not do as well as we think we should, Jesus takes all of that on. And when he dies, when that earthquake happens, when everything goes dark, that's the moment where the human person of Jesus dies, and the divine part, the God part, that goes back to heaven with God. And in those moments, the earthquake and all of that is the physical showing of God's sadness on earth that this has happened.
Oh, beautiful. That is beautiful. Now, this is really where being with family and friends is so beautiful. Jesus is taken from the cross. So his mother is the first to grab him almost like he's an infant. And what we remember from Christmas in our Christingle Nativity pageant, Mother Mary begins with holding Jesus, and she's holding him again. He's 33 years old, but he is still her baby and God. His friends grabbing his hand, showing compassion to their dear Lord. And here we know the man Joseph of Arimathea finds a place for Jesus, for them to put Jesus. They've taken him off the cross. In Jesus' hand is the caterpillar. He had said to the caterpillar, when they take me off the cross, that is when you will become a butterfly. So just imagine that this caterpillar that's been with Jesus the whole time, watching his friends and family love him in the hardest, darkest time. And he tells the caterpillar, wait outside, butterfly, new butterfly, and by Sunday I will come back to you. So they put him in the tomb, and they close the tomb with a rock. The butterfly is flying around, waiting for Jesus to come see him again. And that's where we are right now. We wait through Good Friday, Holy Saturday, the Vigil, and on Easter morning, what happens, Father Stephen?
On Easter morning, we celebrate that Jesus rises from the dead. The tomb will be empty. Hope is fulfilled. And the guarantee that we all have of everlasting life is promised through Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Father Stephen, and we wish you a very holy time this Holy Week, Good Friday, and a joyous Easter.
Blessed Easter.